Hello everyone, welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're all good and well. So in this Friday's album review, I'm reviewing the latest release from Omnium Gatherum. This is their 9th studio album called Origin. It's released today on Century Media Records. It's 10 tracks and it's 54 minutes in length. Going into this album, I kind of felt like I had some expectations of it being pretty 80s, pretty heavy metal and glam rock from the three singles I saw, or the three videos I saw for the singles prior to this album being released. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get something which, it's probably going to be recognised at the Omnium Gatherum, but with this slightly different flavouring to it. And I got that for the singles on the album, but the rest of the album felt a bit more like your sort of typical kind of melodic death Omnium Gatherum, and there weren't as many diversions on this album as I thought there might be just from those pre-release singles. What do I think of this album? So I think it's a fairly decent release from Omnium Gatherum. I'll be honest, I perhaps wasn't as involved in this album as I might have been with New Old Shadows or Beyond, and some of their other previous releases in their discography. This one, as I say, I think it felt just a little bit like, at times, in spite of those singles, too much a little bit familiar territory for me. That said, there's quite a lot to still enjoy on this release. I really liked the second track, Prime, which, although very recognisably Omnium Gatherum, it had some great great groove in it, and Yuka's chorus was really good on that track as well. And so for me, it was one of the highlights in the album was that particular song. And then you go into Paragon, which feels like a track they were just having some fun with. If you watch the video, they also look like they were having some fun with the video as well. That's not a bad track, actually. It kind of, that's the one that gives you that sort of slightly kind of 80s anthem flavour, 80s rock anthem flavour to it. And for what it was just a bit of fun. For track 4, Reckoning, actually another one of my preferred tracks on the album. Again, those kind of those leads, those guitar leads that definitely evoke a feeling from that particular era of the 1980s. Pretty cool stuff, pretty fast, heavy stuff on that track. I did enjoy that one. Fortitude was a slightly longer track, and this one also another single, I think, from the album. And again, but this one sort of had those tones that reminded me of Def Leppard's Hysteria, that kind of a song, or from that kind of an era of Def Leppard as well. So again, we got that vibe. So for 3 tracks in a row, got that vibe. But then the rest of the album, it was like we went away from that back to more of the sort of standard Omnium Gatherum stuff. Friction, I want to make a special shout out to, because I really liked that track, and it's probably because the outro I thought was a really impressive outro. Van Haller goes into kind of some amazing guitar licks towards the end of that track, and soloing. It's just amazing, and that's definitely a highlight on this album for me, is Friction's outro. So look out for that, don't miss that bit of that track. It's really, really cool stuff. The last kind of tracks on the album, tracks 7 through to the cover at the end, was where I really kind of just decided, I without necessarily wanting to, the album lost my attention, and I wasn't as into the rest of this album. I mean, Tempest was okay, Unity felt a little bit long, as did Solemn, and Solemn felt like it could have been, maybe a B-side on Beyond, and I'm a fan of the Beyond album, so I didn't mind it, but I just felt that that one kind of, it didn't feel like it packs the powerful punch that a lot of their previous stuff has done in the past. So where do I sit with this album overall? What do I think of it from a complete standpoint? I think at the moment, for me, it's a decent album. It's a fair effort from Omnium Gatherum. Perhaps not their best work, but a fair effort. So as an honest score, I feel like I'm not quite there with a 7. I think this is between a 6 and a 7. It feels like 6 is too low a score, because there were some really good, some really impressive guitar work as always on this album. So I'm going to give it 6.5 out of 10. for this week's album review. So what did you think of this album though? Do you disagree? Do you think this is one of their best albums to date? Feel free to say why in the comments. Otherwise, hope you all have good weekends, and bye for now. Hopefully see you next time. Take care, everybody.